Hello everyone, welcome to the Mercury Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I am going to continue with your same module, that is Office Solution Development, and the same chapter, that is Office Solution Development. In the last class we have discussed, or we have studied about how to create an Outlook add-in in using the VSTO. That is how to create the Outlook add-ins using the VSTO. That is creating an Outlook add-in in the VSTO. That is a last class session. In the today's class I'm going to we are going to discuss about the code behind the document, that is what is the main code that is hidden code behind the document. So let's start with the previous class session what we have covered in the last class, then move to the today's topic, that is the code behind the document. So in the last class we have started with creating Outlook add-in in the VSTO session. So to create an Outlook add-in project, choose the project from the file menu. So whatever the file menu that is available, choose that file menu. So then we have discussed about how to create the Outlook, or how to create the Outlook add-ins using the VSTO in the VSTO program that is available in the VSTO. So this is the option that is available. So first of all, click on the project type or click on the new project. Then in the Visual C Sharp there is a tool that is available over here, that is the Visual C Sharp. So there is a go to the Visual C Sharp project type, then go to the Office, then these are the various visual templates or Visual Studio install template that is available, that looks like Outlook add-in. So we have to select on the Outlook add-ins, then give the name, then give the location, then give the solution. So these are the first of all what are the various project type, that is a Visual C Sharp, then go to the Office, then what are the various options or template that is available, that is a Visual Studio install template. So one of the option of the that is available is Outlook add-ins, and give the name of over here and give the location over here, and location and the solution that is available with the Solution Explorer that is used in this Solution Explorer window. Then this is a Solution Explorer window. In this we have given the name, that is the Outlook add-in 1. This is the Outlook add-in 1 that is available in this one. And if you double click the this application.cs project item, you will see the code shown in the listing 2.4. And there is a simple startup and the shutdown event handler where you can write the code that executes on the startup and the shutdown of the add-in. So if there is any startup value, then any shutdown value that is available with this one, or that is available with the shutdown event that is used with the shutdown, and the startup event that is available in the Outlook Express. And what are the application, what are the properties that is available, that is the property that is installed in, or that is available in the this inspector.count. And this is the initial code that is we have discussed. In this we have used the four header file that is used, and we have taken one function, that is a namespace Outlook add-in 1. Then there is a public partial class that is used with this application. Then there is a private void this application startup object sender event argument e. So this is the private part, private function that is used. Then this is a private, another private function, that is a private void this application shutdown, then object sender event argse. So this is another application, this is another function that is used with this one. Then there is a hash reason VSTO designer generated code, then private void internal startup, that is the next code that is used. Then this dot startup plus equals to new system, that means the startup is used with the new system. In the same way there is a shutdown event. So first is this is a startup event, then this is a shutdown event that is used with the event handler, that is this application startup and this application shutdown. So looking at the listing 2.4, you might wonder about the use of the partial in the class definition, and we have used, or we are going to use the VSTO that is used with the partial classes, which are a new feature of .NET that enables you to define a part of the class. So in this you have to define the class or a part of the class that is used with this one. So in this we are going to study that what is the final listing 2.4 that is available in this one, and there is an internal startup method that is generated by the VSTO and is used to hook up any event handler that is generated by the VSTO that contain in the startup and the shutdown events that are hooked up. And we are going to add the code in the listing 2.4 to create an add-in that will solve an annoying problem people relying or replying to an email that is sent out to an email alias through a large number of people. And Outlook application object has an item sent event that is raised whenever a user sends an email. So whenever the user sends an email that is used with the Outlook application object, that is an item sent event. and that also listing is available in the 2.5. And in our item send event handler, we need to check to see whether the item parameter that is passed as an object is actually an email or not. So in the item send, it is available as an email data that is actually an email or not. We have to check for this one. The easiest way to achieve this is to use the key as a keyword to try to cast the item parameter to an outlook. That is, try to cast the item parameter. That is, what is the usage of the item parameter that is used with this one. This is one of the code that we have discussed. This is the final code that we have discussed in last class. Again, the same header file that is available with this one, that is using system.windows.form, then using microsoft.visualstudio.tools.application.runtime, then using the outlook equals to Microsoft Office interop outlook. So first of all, we are using the system, so it is using the system, then using the forms, that is a window form, that is a using system.windows.forms, then using the Microsoft.visualstudio tools.application.runtime, that is available with this one, then using outlook microsoft.office.intro.outlook, that is the next part, the namespace outlook add-in 1, that is available with this one, that is a namespace event is used, then outlook add-in 1, then public partial class this application, then private void this application startup. So it is used with the startup event, that is used with the startup, then object sender event args e, then this dot item send plus equals to new, that means it is used as the item send, that is plus equals to new, then outlook dot application event 11, then item sender or item send, that is send with the item, that is used with this one, that is the event handler that is available with the this one is the item send, then this application item send, then this is reference bool variable, this is the mail item my item. Now check for the my item. If my item is not equals to null, that means it is not null, it is not empty, then for each loop will be used, that is outlook dot recipient dot receive in system or my item dot participants. Then it is used as a if. So it is used as a if for each loop that is covered in this one, that is outlook dot recipient receipt in or receipt in my item dot recipient, and if function will be used if receipt dot address entry dot members dot count is greater than 24. So if that entry member dot count is greater than 24, then the string message that is available send mail to 0 with 1 people, that is send mail to the 0 with 1 people, then caption that is used is more than 25 recipients, then message box buttons equals to message box button dot yes no, that is available either buttons, either that may button may be yes, either that button may be a no. Then dialog result, that means the result is a variable that is of the dialog result. Then in the result it is going as a output of the message box dot show, then string dot format, then message receipt entry dot name, receipt entry address entry dot members dot count. So this is used as a message box for the showing the elements that is used with this one. Now if result equals to dialog result dot number, so if result equals to dialog result dot number that is used, then cancel equals to true, that means the cancel got the value that is true, and then there is a break, that means a break event will be used, then there is the closing curly braces, closing. So these are the various closing curly braces that is available with this. Then private void this application dot underscore shutdown, so that means it is going to use the shutdown event that is available with this one, and there are two arguments, that is object sender and the event arguments e. This is a private part that is available. Then hash reason vsto designer generated code, so that is a reason vsto designer generated code that is available. Then private void internal startup, so there is a private void function is used, that is the internal startup function is used over here. Then this dot startup plus equals to new system, that is a this dot startup that is plus equals to new system, that is a new system has also generated, that is used with the startup systems. Then event handler, this application underscore startup. That means this application underscore startup is used for the application handlers for the shutdown events, for the startup events. Then there is a shutdown event also, that is the event handler shutdown. This the end of the reason. Then this is closed, this is closed. Now next is code behind the document, that is how to use the code behind the document. Whatever the code that is used, behind the document. So this is the code behind the document, that is how to use the code behind the document. So the VSTO also supports the code behind a document by requiring that the developer uses the classes generated in a VSTO project. So developers use the class that is generated in a VSTO project, that is developed, that have pre-hooked up context and pre-hooked up event. That is, there are two parts by which the code is used behind the event. There are two parts of the project, like a pre-hooked up context and the pre-hooked up event. So one is the context, one is the event, and these classes are sometimes known as the code behind. So these classes are known as the code behind the event, that is the context and the event classes, because they are code associated with the particular document or worksheet. So there is a code that is available with the, or that is joined with the, that is used with the particular document or the worksheet. In Word, there is one code behind the class corresponding to the document. So in the MS Word, there is only one code that is used, or that is available behind the class corresponding to the document. In Excel, there are multiple codes behind the classes. So there are multiple code that is available behind the classes, one for the workbook and one for each worksheet or the chart sheet in the workbook. So one for the workbook and one for the each worksheet or the chart sheet in the workbook, that is used with this one, that is used with the extra classes, that is used with the worksheet, that is used with this one. The first time your code runs in a VSTO code behind the document project is when the office raises the startup event. So first code that is run or that is available behind the document, that is used behind the document, is when the office raises the startup event. So whenever the office raises the startup event, in that case the VSTO code is used. In that case, the first code is generated in the VSTO code that is used behind the document project when the office raises the startup event handlers by any one of the code that is used behind the classes created for you. VSTO also provides the context via the base class of the code behind class you are writing code in. So VSTO also provide the context as well as the classes that is used between the class that is used via the base class of the code that is behind the class you are writing code in. A VSTO code that is used behind the class customizing an event worksheet derives from a base class. So whatever the base class, whatever they are customizing an Excel worksheet that is derived from a base class that contains all the methods, properties and events of an Excel worksheet. So whatever the method, whatever the properties, whatever the events of an Excel worksheet, that is derived from the base class, that is derived from customizing an Excel worksheet. This enables you to write code such as this in the startup method of a worksheet class. This enables you to write the code that is available in the startup method of a worksheet class. So this is the message box dot show string dot format 0 as the sheet name, this dot name. So this is a message box dot show that is used. Then there is a string dot format. Then there is a 0. 0 is the sheet name. So that is used with the sheet name, that is available with the sheet name. So that is available with sheet name, that is used with the sheet name, that is available with sheet name. So there is a message box dot show string dot format. 0 is the sheet name, then this dot name. So that's the code that is used behind the document, that is used behind the content that is available within the content. and by using this dot name you are referring to the name property of the Excel worksheet. So by using this one you are referring the property of the Excel worksheet object inherited from the base class. So if there is an inherited object that is available, that is inherited from the base class, that is used with this one, that is used with this, that is used with this property, that is used with this content. Listing 26 shows a VSTO code that is used behind the class for an Excel worksheet. So this is the listing 26, that is the Excel worksheet or Excel workbook customization. So what is the code that is used? In the Word there is one code that is used behind the class. In Excel there are multiple code that is used, one for the workbook and one for the worksheet, one for the chart sheet. So there are multiple parts, there are multiple code that is used behind the class in the Excel. Either that may be a workbook, that may be a worksheet, that may be a chart sheet in the MS Excel. So we have discussed about this office trace is the first time event that is used. So that is a startup event of a worksheet, that is a message box dot show, then string dot format, 0 is our sheet name, then this dot name. So this dot name is used, you are referring to the name property of the Excel worksheet object inherited from the base class. So whatever the name property of the Excel worksheet that is inherited from the base class, that is used with the name property of the Excel worksheet. So this is the this dot name that is refers to the name property of the Excel worksheet that is inherited from the base class. Listing 26 shows a VSTO code behind the class for an Excel worksheet. In addition to the startup and the shutdown methods in the code behind the class, there is also a generated code, or there is also a generated method known as the internal startup. So in addition to the startup and the shutdown method that is available in the class, there is also a generated method that is known as the internal startup. So there is a generated method that is generated over here, that is known as the internal startup, and you should not put any of your code in this internal startup method because it is auto generated by VSTO. That means it is not my choice that I have to put that in the internal startup method. No, because it is automatically generated class that is covered in the internal startup method, and modifying it can break Visual Studio support for the code behind the class. So if I want to modify the startup event handlers or startup event class, so that is also modifying with the help of the startup event. VSTO code behind the document classes also use the partial class to hide some additional code generated by the VSTO. So whatever the code, whatever the class that is available, that is used to hide some additional code that is generated by the VSTO. So this is a listing 26, that is a VSTO Excel workbook customization. So this is a using the system, then using system.data, then using system.drawing. So we are using the system, then system.data, then system.drawing, then system.windows.form. So whatever the window concept, whatever the forms that is available, that is used with the windows and the system and the forms. Then using the Microsoft.Visual Studio.tools.application.runtime. So whatever the tools, whatever the application, whatever the runtime method is used, that is used with the Visual Studio.tools.application.runtime. Then using Excel, that is equals to Microsoft.Office.interop.excel. So whatever the Excel environment that is used with the Excel concept. Then using the Office equals to Microsoft Office.core, that is this is used with the Microsoft.Office.core. So this is the VSTO Excel customization or Excel workbook customization. Now this is the code that is used, that the namespace, then Excel workbook 1, then public partial class sheet 1. So this is a public document that is, or public function that is used. Then there is a private, then there is a void function, that is the return type is void. Then sheet 1 underscore startup. So sheet 1 is used with the startup function. Then object sender event arguments e, then there is an initial entry point. This code that get run whenever it is used. So that is the first code, that is a startup event that is generated in the VSTO. This is the code that is used behind the document. So that is the object sender and the event args e, that is the initial entry point. Then there are two lines that is used to show on the screen, that is a message box dot show, that is a code behind the document running. This is a code that is used behind the document running. then message box dot show, then string dot format, then 0 is the sheet name, then this dot name. So this is used as a message box dot show, then message box dot show, that is a code behind the document running, and string dot format, 0 is the sheet name, then this dot name. So this is the message box dot show that is used with this one. This is the private part that is available with this one, and this all covered in the public, and this is covered in the namespace worksheet workbook 1. Then this is a private void sheet 1 shutdown, then object center event args e. Then there are two parts in this one. Then there is a hash reason VST or designer generated code that is used with this one. Then this is a summary. Then there is a required method for designer support. So this is there is a required method that is used for the designer support, that do not modify the contents of this method with the code editor. So there is no modification that is done with the contents of the method that is used with the code editor. Then the summary will be closed. Then at last there is a function that is a private void internal startup. So there is a function that is known as the private void internal startup event, that is contained, or that is used to contain the this dot startup. So there is the startup event that is also used, that is plus equals to new system dot event handler, that is the sheet 1 startup, then this dot shutdown, that is equals to the new system dot event handler sheet 1 underscore shutdown. Then there is a end reason, then there is a curly brace close, curly brace close. This is the code that is a startup event code that is used, code behind the document. Now next part is VSTO code behind the document in the Excel. This I am going to take after the break. So let's take a break right now, then move to this VSTO code behind a document in the Excel. So let's take a break. The VSTO code, that is the Outlook code that is used with the Word. Now the next part is VSTO code behind a document in the Excel. That is how to use the VSTO code that is used behind a document that is used in the Excel. That is the VSTO code behind a document in the Excel. So in this section we create some simple code behind a document in Excel. So let's start with this one. For this we have to study about the how to use that one, or how to use the Excel using VSTO. For this purpose we are using the new project that is available in the Office. Then go to the template, then Excel workbook, then give the name, that is Excel workbook 1, then Office template. So that is a template that is available. Then there is a Word document, then there is a Excel template document, then Office. Then using the new project doing to create an Excel workbook project, and that is a Visual Studio tool for the Office project wizard, that is a Excel workbook 1. So this is used for creating the Excel workbook 1, that is available with the Excel workbook that is used with the Visual Studio C++ or the Visual Studio C Sharp. I'm so sorry. For creating the project that is used within the Excel environment, that is the Visual Studio for or VSTO code behind the document in the Excel. That is for this purpose we have to use the file, then new, then project menu item for this purpose. So in this section we create some simple code behind a document in Excel. So first of all we have to use the VSTO, then choose the file, then new, then project. So this is the project type that is available with this one. So this code or this diagram we are going to discuss in the next class, that is in the tomorrow's class, because there is no student available in the today's class. So that's all for today's session, and if there is any doubts you can ask the doubts from me. And in the tomorrow's class we have studied about the VSTO code that is behind a document in the Excel. In this we are going to study about this new project, how to create the new project, that is how to maintain the Excel workbook in this new project, then how to connect to the Microsoft Office tool, what are the various Office tools that is available with this one. This is again the same. Then this is a listing of the control that is used with the task pane. This is again this one, then conclusion of this Office tool environment. So let's stop over here only, and in the next class we will study about this one, that is a VSTO code behind a document in the Excel. Alright, so thanks a lot everyone for listening me, and if there is any doubts, any suggestions regarding the assignment, regarding the module, you can ask the doubts from me. Thanks a lot everyone. Bye bye.